I want to talk about our efforts against homelessness. We've certainly made big investments in helping people through a housing crisis, but we know that even though we've had an eviction moratorium, it's kept about 75,000 people from becoming unhoused. There's more work to do. I'd like to thank the landlords and the property owners for their patience and understanding during this difficult time. And we know that despite our efforts, homelessness unfortunately has increased in Washington State because of the COVID pandemic. And since I rolled out a budget and since the legislature started the session, really two new dynamics have taken place. One, the COVID pandemic has forced more people into homelessness. And we now have a new source of funds thanks to the federal government and the leadership of President Biden. So we need to take both of those things into consideration now as sort of a new situation that exists. We know that services for those experiencing homelessness are critical, and I think this issue merits a new approach from our state government and our legislature, even though this is late in the session. We think that mutual investments and partnerships going forward should focus on strategies getting people off the street and under a roof with dignity and privacy, and that these facilities can have access to services like housing counseling to keep people under a safe roof. Now, that being said, we hope that these increased investments will be made in mutual partnership with counties, cities, and towns across our state that actually are implementing these programs. So it is our hope, and I believe legislators' reasonable expectations, is that communities that would receive these additional funds that we will be proposing will have effective program strategies and implementation plans that will effectively transition people out of our public parks and right-of-ways and into secure housing that has the privacy that we know has been so effective in helping people to a healthy living situation. I think those legislative expectations are reasonable. It's also fair that legislators, I'm confident, as they consider future allocations, will ask for a reasonable match from local communities to be able to be in partnership with state investment. So I'm hopeful if we meet these partnership goals, we'll be able to get more funding than originally proposed in our legislative session to help people through homelessness. So specifically, I am proposing that the legislature appropriate federal American Rescue Plan dollars toward rapidly acquiring housing units, providing case management, and cleanup and rehabilitation of public spaces that have been used as encampments. This is an additional to the original budget requests I've made, in addition to the significant commitments that have already been made by the legislature. The legislature has been working hard on this issue for some months, but I believe given the extent of this crisis and the availability of federal dollars, that we can put our shoulder to the wheel in the final days of the session to do more than we're currently anticipated doing, again with these expectations of having a joint responsibility with local communities to make sure we actually have effective programs.